guys, it's Elena and I'm back with another tutorial using my Galaxy brushes for Procreate, and the link for purchasing these brushes is down in the description below, or you can also work with any other Galaxy brushes that you have or with the free Nebula brush inside of Procreate as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start out using a 14 by 11 inch canvas at 300 dpi, and I'm going to straight off the bat just make the background black by double tapping on my color wheel. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and start out with my dynamic Galaxy brushes, and I will start with Nebula number 3 right here. Nebula number 3 CV, and CV means color variation. So this brush comes out in several colors that are similar to the one that you selected, so that it has sort of a variation like a nebula would. So I'm going to go ahead and start out with this dark purple color, and I've got the brush all the way up to make it quite big, and I'm just going to kind of see what kind of happy accidents that I can come up with here. And I'm going to take it in blue as well, this very dark blue here. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and grab my Nebula number 4 CV, and I will choose this lighter blue for that. You might have to use the brush a few times and see what you like best, because it will come out differently every time. And I'm just going to go to Nebula number 6 CV in a teal color and just keep experimenting with what kind of texture I can come up with here. Okay, and so now that I've got a basic shape in here, I'm going to go for my brush that's called Selective Intensifier. And this brush says blend only because if you try it where there's nothing on the screen, then nothing happens, but it's meant to make what's already there on the same layer more intense. So you can see what I mean here. And so I like to use this to kind of shine a light on certain areas and make them look a bit more reflective and a bit more dynamic. You have to be careful. Sometimes you can just take the opacity down a bit to make sure that you don't go too far too fast. Using this Selective Intensifier brush is just a way to have more control over which areas are more pronounced in your painting. So I think I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with how these colors are sort of blending with each other here. Just gonna add a bit more intensity. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and add I think this area could use a little bit of something, and I'm gonna look in my stamps. These also come with the brush set. These are the Galaxy stamps, and there's quite a few different options of sort of an accent that you could add to your scene. Different kinds of nebula and supernovas, and this one is called Milky Way number 2, and I'm gonna go ahead and go with that one. And I'm gonna choose this blue again. And by the way, this is the standard Galaxy color palette that comes with the brush set as well. So with that blue selected, I'm just going to sort of experiment with this stamp, and you can tilt your brush in different ways in order to get it pointing in different ways. That's quite large, so I'm going to take it down a bit. Okay, I like how that looks. And so now, just to make it sort of blend in with everything, I'm going to keep that color Go back to the dynamic brushes, and then I'm just going to select my Stardust brush, and I'm just going to go with Stardust number 2 and sort of go around the edges of this just to make it blend in a bit. Happy with that. And I'm just gonna go ahead and add another stamp right here in the corner. And for this stamp, it's quite a bright colored stamp. So I'm making a new layer. I'm gonna choose the color, this bright orange color, which is really good for the intense stars and stamps. So going back to the stamps, I wanted to choose this Eclipse number 2. And just see how that looks, and because it's on its own layer I'll be able to move it around, but I kind of had a thought that I would put it here in the corner, maybe a bit smaller like that, and I'm just gonna move it around and see how I like that. I think I'd actually like it a bit bigger. I'm gonna bring it up a bit. Now I'm moving it. Just going to turn the snapping off so I have a bit more control, and I will leave that right about there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add another layer on top of all of this, and I'll keep that orange color, and I'm going to add some stars. So first I'm going to choose some more of the Stardust brushes. I think I'm going to go with Stardust number 3. And just kind of add just a little bit of this Stardust color throughout here. And I think I'm actually going to put this one below everything instead. And I'll choose more of the beige brown color and Stardust number 2 just to have some different textures in here, different colors. And now I'm going to go ahead and choose my Sparse Stars in that beige brown color and add a couple of more prominent stars here. And I'll do the same in the orange color. So I think on top of everything else, I'm just going to add one more layer. And in this orange color, I want to do a few of these shooting stars. So these brushes start out solid and then fade out just like a real shooting star. So I'm just going to try it over here. And you have to have kind of a quick flicking motion when you use this brush. I just want to add a couple of these just for interest in different sizes. Okay, and going to my stamps now, I'm just going to see if there's anything else that I could add. I think I'm going to just go with the single star number 2 pressure size, so that just means that the pressure determines the size. I'm just going to add a few stars down here. And I'm going to go ahead and select stars number 3 as well in the stamps, and just add a concentration of small stars in these areas as well. And just to finish it off, I'm going to go back to my dynamic brushes, and I'm going to go up to Wispy Dust, and I'm going to go back to this teal color and I wanted to just add a few little wispies of dust throughout here. I'm going to do it on the same layer as I did all the nebula. I'm going to do the same thing in blue in some of these other areas. I just add a bit of blue over here on the green as well. And just to finish it off, I'm going to go back to the Selective Intensifier and do a bit more intensity in this area. I'm just going to take it down so I don't go overboard. Notice that this brush is a bit small. I've got it all the way up and it's not like covering all the space, and this is intentional so that you can have a more precise effect with this, because that is the point of this brush, is to give you more control, and if it was really big it would end up just kind of causing a big blur. I think that I'm about happy with that now. And I'm gonna leave it like this. So I think I'm about happy with how that looks. It kind of tells a story to me. And anyway, I hope that this was informative, and thank you for watching.